Hey everyone, welcome to Coloritaville. I wanted to go through the Black Widow pencils with you today, and I've taken them all and I've reorganized and rearranged, and I went through and I did the normal 96 swatch. This swatch set is from Color with Claire, and it is a good swatch. It's a 96 pencil chart, and it covers all of the pencils that were in the Black Widow, the Cobra, the Scorpion, and both of the skin tones. So I went through and I did that because we already know that there's swatch sheets out for those. And then I went through and I got all of the Monarchs done up on different swatches so I could see what colors there were and where to integrate them into this swatch sheet. Now I've arranged them all in my bag in the order that I would personally use them in. This is completely up to you. You do not have to put them in this order. I put them from yellows all the way down to grays and whites and blacks. Of course, like I said, this is completely up to you. You don't have to do it that way. Now, one of the things that I will say about having them in the bag is that you can't see the names on some of them. Some of them, like for example, we've got 3 different ones here in the same slot. I don't know if you can see that. And you can see Nugget and Stink Bug, but you can't see this one's name. And this is one of the Monarchs, and all of the Monarchs, the name is down here in the middle. So you have to sort of pull it up, and if it's got a long enough name, you can see it. Their number is up here, but the name is not. And on some of the skin tones as well. Let's see if I can find a skin tone and show that to you. Oh, and the Scorpion as well. Let's see, this one is a Scorpion, and you can't see the color because the color is way down here. So if I pull that down, see this color is way down there. But the skin tones, like this one is a dark skin tone. The skin tone colors are all up here, a little bit higher than these ones. But, you know, that's one of those reasons why we swatch, right? So that we can find all of the pencils quite easily in the order that we have them. As long as we put them all back the same way, we're all good. Anyway, I thank you so much for joining me. I hope that your week has gone fabulous so far. We're going to go through these Black Widow pencils and we're going to swatch them. I'm going to actually do that on fast forward with some music for you. So if you don't like swatch videos and you know, want to come back afterwards to find out how things went, by all means, you can go get a cup of coffee or, you know, go to the bathroom or anything like that and come back in approximately 8 minutes. And that should be all done up for you. Of course, when I am done swatching them, I will come back and we will go over what I found while we were swatching them and see if there was any problems with my arrangement, which it's possible. Sometimes I think they look good in that order, you know, just by picking and choosing without, you know, actually swatching them all together and looking at them all in a row. And then we will go through the Christmas mandalas, this book that we've been doing our reviews with. And we will color one of these sets with the Black Widows. And we will see how they lay down. See if they lay down any better than the Amazon Basics or the Artezas. Okay, well, enjoy the swatching. Like I said, it's going to be set to music, so you won't have to hear my voice. And I will put it on a faster speed so it does go through quickly because it is a long process. All right, I will be back. Enjoy the swatching. Okay, everyone, we've got that all swatched up. And unfortunately, I do apologize. My camera, for some reason, disconnected halfway, well, three-quarters of the way through the swatch. So it disconnected on fairy floss. And we got fudge, fire, blush, pastel purple, sorry, lavender, plum pudding, deep purple, tulip, purple haze, amethyst, grape, eggplant, cobra, or actually that's space. I wrote cobra, grade slate, wash purple, light mocha, foxy brown, mahogany, rusty, rattlesnake, chestnut, brown bug, tarantula, negra, cinnamon, mud, dark chocolate, huntsman, chalk tone, brown fog, light gray, spider web, dark gray, shadow, charcoal, gunmetal, gray thorn, medium gray, dim gray, coal, flat black, midnight, black, Casper, and snow. Now, I put them in this order because that's the normal order I've always had pencils come in, and it just makes it easier for me to locate them. I tried to keep all the warm grays together and all the cold grays, the cool grays together with the blacks. Now we've got that all swatched out, and while swatching, I didn't have any difficulty with the pencils. I did find that one of the pencils does have a bit of a nub on it, and that's one of the Monarchs. Let's see if I can show you that. It's one of the blues. There it is. So this, and I've seen other people say it, the Iceberg has this bit of a nub on it. So I'll probably take a knife and peel that off if it starts bugging me. I don't ever hold the pencil by here, but if you do, then it's going to bug you. Sorry about my nails. I was pitting cherries and got cherry juice under my nails, and it's all stained. I tried to clean it out. It wouldn't come out. But that's a Monarch Iceberg, and it's got this little nibby thing. It's not a big deal, but it's a little bit of a deal. They all sharpened beautifully. I found that I got a very good point on them. The point held up well to both the light and the dark heavy-handedness on all of them. They covered quite nicely. I haven't blended any of these, and I won't blend any of them. I want to see what they're going to look like on the paper when it goes down, so that when I do blend it, it doesn't, it'll look cleaner. But that is the swatching part done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through this wonderful book. Once again, this book that we're doing this in is The Christmas Mandalas by Camelia Anjakova, sorry. I did it again. Maybe by the time I'm done all my hoard, I'll actually be able to say her name properly. And I've chosen the colors that I'm going to use for this swatching, this coloring. And the blues I've chosen are Forget Me Not. Can you see that? Sky, which is going to be the light blue that I use. Peppermint. Ladybug, which is a red. Blood Diamond, which is a dark red. Fang Green, which is a really dark green, and Green Grass. So those are the colors we're going to use today. We're going to start today with Ladybug and Blood Diamond. And I'm going to switch you over to the other camera so that you guys can see what the pencils are doing and what they're doing on this sheet. I'm going to sharpen these up for a bit first. So, okay, so we're going to use Ladybug. And I've put you on the close-up camera so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Hopefully you can see that all right. So we're just going to go through the whole thing with the ladybug. And then we'll do the shadowing. I do apologize if you can hear the children in the background, but I've asked them to be quiet. They just don't listen, as children don't. So it went on quite smoothly. There's a couple of areas that we're going to have to go over top of, but we're going to do that after we get the dark on there. Now, don't do what I just did. If you do find that you have a little bit of pencil dust on the page, don't wipe it with your hand. Try to have a paintbrush handy or a dust brush handy so that you can knock that extra color off. If you do it with your hand like I did, you end up with a smear. And when you are 3/4 the way through a picture and you smear red across a white area or a yellow area or a gray area, it's really frustrating. Have done it many times. Okay. So that's our holly berries. That didn't take long to cover that at all, and it looks pretty good. Now we're going to take our Prisma blending pencil, our colorless blender. We're just going to move this around a little bit. Get that all cleaned up. See how they blend? They blend pretty good. Burnish down all that white spot really nicely. Let's blend that dark into the light here. Most people go from the light to the dark, but I just wanted to extend that dark a little bit more than I had it colored out. And of course, this is when you're definitely going to be using that brush while you're blending and burnishing, because it lifts off any extra bit and flattens down, and as you can see, it pulls it up a little bit. So definitely don't run your hand across that. Use your brush. Okay, now we're going to move on to the leaves. So we're going to pull the dark green, which is fang green. If I don't break the tip off trying to get it. So that's a fang green. And that is one from the Black Widow set. And I'm just going to do the areas that I want to be dark green. The reason why I'm doing the dark green first instead of last, which is the normal procedure, and I will go over it again at the end, is I'm going to go over it with the lighter colors just to lighten it up a bit, to make it a little bit lighter, the same as I did with the other ones. This fang green is a nice dark green, but it's a green. It's not a blacky green. It's a nice evergreen green. It would work really well for coloring pine trees and stuff like that. Cedar. And, of course, holly leaves. That's pretty good. I do apologize if, well, that looks horribly dark. Let's move you down a little bit. I don't know why it's coming up as a black color on the camera. Hopefully it doesn't show it that way on the video, because it is not a black color. Then the next one we're going to use is grass green. And we're just going to go over top of, and of course we're going to leave our center area for our lighter green. Just so that we have a light, looks like a highlight, nice light area. It's a nice color too. It's not as light as I would expect grass green to be, but it is a good color. Now, if your dark green is very prominent and it just seems to be blending into this lighter green nicely without having to go over it, you don't have to go over it with the dark green again if you don't feel the need to. All right. This is a bit less yellow than I wanted it to be. The other leaves I used a yellower green, and I don't think I chose the right light one for this, but that's all right too. Just like everything else in nature, everything is different and has its own personality. So you can get away with a lot of things coloring nature things. So I'm just going to go over that fang green just a little bit more here, just to cover those areas that didn't look like they got covered nicely there. Okay, we're going to dust that off and go over it. I do apologize. It does not look like the camera is catching this very nicely for you. Oh, I didn't wipe off that red. Let's see if I can blend it out. There we go. You gotta be careful that you make sure you wipe off your blending pencil. Otherwise, you're going to end up with, red and green, just like I just did, because I didn't blend off that pencil. Or wipe off that blending pencil, sorry. So as my first time ever coloring with these, other than the swatch sheets, but actually putting them to paper, the colors are really, really vibrant for the ones that we chose here. The dark red is one of the best dark reds I've seen. Where it's still a red, it's not a burgundy red, it's still a red, but it's a nice dark red. And that's the blood diamond. They also have one that's called dark red, which is still a nice red. It's just not as dark as I wanted it to be. Oh, it's not called dark red, it's called deep red, sorry. Okay, so that's our holly leaf, and I think it looks more like an actual holly leaf than the other ones we've done. I think I've maybe chosen the wrong greens for those, but this is a nice green. It seems to make it pop out really nicely. So now we're going to do the blues, and the blues I've chosen for this is Forget Me Not, which I'm going to use for the dark areas in the shaded shadow areas. And hopefully it'll turn out, but Sky, which is one of the monarchs. A lot of people already have the rest of the set, so I'll just talk a little bit about the monarchs. What I found with the monarchs is that they have a lot of really nice light colors, pastel-y colors, that I felt that when I did the original swatching on Color with Claire's swatch sheet that she has them all laid out for all of the sets, I found that it was lacking a lot of the really light colors and really pastel colors. And that's what the Monarch seems to make up for. It has a lot of really nice light colors and pastel colors. And that's a great thing. There's a lot of coloring tools out there that have the basic colors, you know, the darker colors, the primary colors, that sort of thing. But they are lacking in the very light pastel colors. So I'm glad that they put that in there. I'm glad that they were able to recognize that that was something that was lacking on the market. And hopefully it works out well for them. They seem to be a good quality pencil. Don't know anything about the light fastness on them or anything like that, but they sharpen very nicely. They maintain their sharp point for quite some time. It takes quite a bit of pressure and quite a bit of coloring to wear those tips down. I apologize if my hand is in the way. If it is, let me know, and next time we'll find a different setup. This is a learning curve for me. Like I said before, I am trying to find the best setup available for you guys to keep it showing what you want to see. And me and my husband went through hours over the last weekend trying to figure out different cameras and different angles and areas on my desk that we could actually film these videos for you with me being able to see what I'm doing. And that was difficult. And this was the only thing that we could really come up with that gave you the close-up that you wanted, as well as gave me the ability to actually see what I was doing. I don't have the best eyesight, so it makes it difficult for me to see what I'm doing and show you the best way that I color without being right over top of what I'm coloring. And then because I'm over top of what I'm coloring, my hands are in the way or my arms in the way. Does not make good for a good close-up. So I've done the Forget-Me-Not blue on all the edges that I want to be dark. And I'm going over the whole thing with this sky blue. Sky blue is a Monarch color. It's a nice pastel-y, aqua-y color. Aqua-ish color. And I think it works really good for this. Gives a nice ice color. Of course, they have one that's called ice blue, or what is it called? I think it's called blue ice or something like that. Yeah, I could have used that one, but I kind of like the color of this one. I know they have an ocean one. And as you can see, it seems to be blending quite nicely into the Forget-Me-Not, which is a good thing. All right, almost done. Almost one happy little snowflake. And it's a snowflake, not an icicle, so it needs to be a little bit lighter and fluffier than sharp icy blue. I think it was just a bit of a darker color, so Okay, so that's all done. So this is a bit darker of a color than this. I like this a little bit better. Let's see if we can get it to focus on it. That's another thing is I have not figured out how to turn off the autofocus. Almost did it again. Remember to wipe your pencil. Almost threw a little bit of evergreen in there. And just take your blending pencil and go around the areas that don't look like they blended together very well, and you want a bit more blend. You know, those sharp areas where you want it to look like it's all one color. And it doesn't look like it did that for you with just the pencils. Sometimes I go over the entire picture with the blending pencil just to buffer out or buff up some of the colors and to knock down some of the paper, because I find that with some pencils I get a lot of white spot, and I don't know if it's the pencils or if it's the paper. I find that coloring in these books, sometimes the paper is really difficult to work with. You have to find the right pencils to color on that paper. A lot of times I will dismantle my books, break them down into individual sheets, feed them through my scanner, and print them off and color them from there. Just because I get frustrated really easily. When I get frustrated, I give up, especially if I've tried several different ways and it just isn't working. And somebody suggested to me to photocopy it onto a better thickness of paper, and it worked really well. I used a 67-pound Neela stock, and the cardstock is wonderful. Okay, so there's that. Let's see if I can get you close so you can see the colors blended together. Okay, trying to get you out of the shadow there without. There you go. Oh, it's still in the shadow. Let's see. There you go. One of these days, I will figure out how to turn off the autofocus. But until then, unfortunately, I will not. I will have issues with it buffering and trying to focus in on things like my hand. All right, so we've got that colored. What I found with that, and I'm just going to switch you over to the other camera so we can talk about it. What I found with that coloring, let's get that out of the way, is, as you can see, this one here is a bit darker in the edging. This one has a bit more yellow in the dark green that we chose. And it was one of the darker greens that was available in the Artezas. And this one here is a really dark green. It's really nice. Now, it does look like a blacky green on the camera, but it's not. It's just a really, really nice dark green. There's not a lot of yellow in that. There's definitely more of a dark blue in that. The berries, I think the Artezas did pretty good for the berries. These look almost purpley to me. And these ones here did really well too. I could have added a little bit more of the blood diamond, the dark red, and then gone over and put a second layer of the ladybug on it. Another thing I found with these pencils is they have some of the cutest names ever. I absolutely love the names that are in these pencils. Again, I'll turn that off for you. Sorry about that. Let's not have the glare. That is the entire set fully swatched out for you. I, of course, once again started with the light yellow and ended with the snow white. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you do subscribe. You hit the little bell so that you get a reminder every time we post a video to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember that next Sunday, we will be having a live color along where I will be swatching and going through. I probably won't swatch the whole set on Sunday because it does take a long time. These lovely, lovely pencils. Let's see if I can do this without shaking you around a lot. Once again, I hit the camera. But there's 150 premium soft core colored pencils in here. I am not sure how to swatch these, so if you have any suggestions, throw them in the comments. It's based on the Peloton system, and even though I have done some research, it confuses me still, so I may just swatch them exactly the way they are in the tin and go from there and maybe rearrange over time. But we will be swatching those. And there's a special giveaway, a couple of different giveaways that we're going to do. And I'm going to leave those as a surprise. But you have to be in chat. You have to be watching and responding in chat. So ask questions. I'll be throwing a couple of things out there, and hopefully somebody will win one of these prizes and take home some really cool things. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope that the rest of your week is absolutely fantastically full of color.